Well, destiny is a funny thing. It is a path laid out before us, some say. Others believe it is a story we write ourselves, one choice at a time. I've seen both to be true. I've walked lands where the past is not merely a memory but a living, breathing shadow that stretches into the present. It clings to ancient stones and whispers on the wind. This world, like so many others, is built on a foundation of secrets. It is a tapestry woven from the lives of kings and queens, pirates and ninjas, monsters and heroes. But the threads that bind them all together are often tangled, hidden from view, waiting for someone to pull them and unravel the whole design. The story I am about to tell is one such tapestry. It is a chronicle of the Blackwood clan and all the families whose fates are entwined with theirs. It is a history filled with love and loss, betrayal and redemption. At its heart lies a series of riddles, questions that have haunted generations. Who are we really? Where do we come from? And what debts do we owe to the ghosts of our ancestors? The truth is often a fractured thing, a mirror broken into 1,000 pieces. To see the full picture, you must gather every shard, no matter how sharp its edges. Our journey begins not with a single event, but with a feeling. It is the sense that something is amiss, that the world is not quite as it seems. This is the world of the Blackwoods, of the Riaz family, of Morgana and her dark ambitions. It is a world where a name can be a blessing or a curse, where blood carries power and memories, and where time itself can be bent and broken. To understand the present, we must first venture into the labyrinth of the past. We will follow the threads that connect a young man named Ilif to a long line of powerful ancestors. We will explore the mysteries surrounding his parents' death and his sister's forgotten power. We will sail the seas with a pirate who left his family for adventure and meet the cowboy ninja who stepped out of the shadows to become a father. The path is long and the shadows are deep, so let us take the first step. Blood is more than just a fluid that runs through our veins. In this world, it is a record. It is a library of ancient powers, of forgotten promises, and of inherited sorrows. The Blackwood line is a prime example. Their very essence is a mixture of light and shadow, a hybrid legacy of vampire and werewolf strength passed down through generations. This heritage begins with Lord Elias and Lady Evelyn Blackwood, Lord Silas and Lady Alara, and eventually to Daniel Blackwood, Ilif's father. But the Blackwoods are not the only family whose blood runs thick with magic and mystery. Consider the lineage of Arti. She is the daughter of Oceanus and a woman named Maya, or Mela as she is known. Yet her true paternal heritage was a secret for the longest time, a riddle wrapped in the persona of her mentor. This man, Bart Cage Riaz, a shadow ninja with the heart of a cowboy, is not just her teacher but her father. His blood, the blood of the Riaz clan, flows in her veins, granting her a unique blend of skills and a connection to his sister, the formidable Isabella Riaz. Then there is the blood of Morgana, the dark sorceress whose influence is a poison seeping into the lives of many. Her desires created not children of her own blood, but twisted echoes of her will. Marcus, Draken, Kai, Xena, Ember, Xyler. These individuals are not bound by traditional family ties, but by the dark magic of their creation, each a pawn in Morgana's grand, sinister game. And what of those who choose their family? Rebecca, adopted by Xena, and Paxton, their adopted son. Or Lily, Ilif's twin sister, raised by the enigmatic Miss Colette after a fire claimed their parents. In a world where parentage is often a source of pain and confusion, a mother lost to addiction, a father who vanishes, another corrupted by dark forces. The families we build for ourselves can be the strongest fortresses. They are a reminder that destiny is not just what we inherit, but also what we choose to protect. Every good story has a question at its core, a mystery that begs to be solved. This one has many. They are the whispers in the dark, the missing pieces of the puzzle that drive our characters forward. These are not mere curiosities. They are the engines of their quests, the very reason they cannot stand still. Think of Ilif and Lily. The official story is that their parents, Daniel and Jessica, perished in a house fire. But is that the whole truth? How were the twins truly separated? One vanished into the currents of time, the other was taken in by Miss Colette. The fire is a scar, but the real wound is the mystery of what truly happened that day. This is the promise of the Blackwood Riddle. Consider Rebecca. We know she was placed in an orphanage as a child. But why? Her father, Max Lucian, a man who would later fall into darkness, was once just a man. What pushed him down that path? Did he encounter the seductive evil of Morgana or her sister Evanora? And what of Rebecca's mother, Lunamoon? The reasons for abandoning a child are never simple. Desperation, fear, a sacrifice made for a perceived greater good. We look at Nick, a young man striving to find his place in a burgeoning army. His mother, Jessie, disappeared from his life, leaving him with his father, Tom. We are told she struggled with pills and alcohol. But was that the only reason she left? Was she so afraid of her own demons that she believed leaving Nick was the only way to protect him? And the riddles continue to echo through other families. Magria, the pirate Finn, vanished from her life. Was it simply the call of adventure? And who is Bart Cage Riaz, really? Beyond being Artie's father and Isabella's brother, what is the story behind the Shadow Cowboy Ninja? These questions are not just plot points. They are the hopes and fears of our characters made manifest. To solve them is to understand their journey. This is the promise we must now keep. A name is the first gift we are given. It is a label, a sound, a way for the world to know us. But in this story, a name is so much more. It is a legacy, a reputation, sometimes a burden. Take the name Blackwood. It speaks of an ancient and powerful lineage, a family history steeped in the supernatural. Lord Elias, Lady Evelyn, Eileaf. The name carries the echo of hybrid power, vampire blood, werewolf blood. To be a Blackwood is to be born into a world of secrets and expectations. It commands respect, it incites fear. It is not just a name, it is a destiny waiting to unfold. Then there are names meant to hide, not reveal. Consider Bart Cage Riaz. His middle name, Cage, means shadow in a language from a distant land. It is a name he earned, a descriptor of his life as a shadow ninja. Yet this name, combined with his playful jokester personality, often caused confusion and even ridicule from those who did not understand its origin. He was a man of contradictions, a shadow warrior with a long mustache and a cowboy's swagger, a disciplined ninja who couldn't stand still. His name was a riddle in itself, a perfect reflection of the man who was both a source of laughter and a deadly serious protector and teacher. Some names are chosen, not given. Maya, the mother of Artie, took the middle name Lila to honor her deceased older sister. It was a way to keep her memory alive, to carry a piece of her lost sibling with her through life. This act tells us everything about her character. Mela, Mizzy, terms of endearment, softer names for a world that is often harsh. These chosen names and nicknames create bonds of familiarity and affection. And what of the names that seem almost like a prophecy? Morgana Blackwood, a name now synonymous with darkness and manipulation. Lyra Blackwood, whose name evokes the grace of the swan she can become. Even the simple names like Tom, Nick, or Jesse carry the weight of their own stories. Nick's father is Tom, but Tom is also the name of another powerful figure, a time-bender who helps Lily. Names can be confusing, overlapping, and misleading. They are signposts on the winding road of this history, and to follow the story, one must pay close attention to who is who and what their name truly represents. Well, the world is on the brink of change. Forces that have been dormant for years are beginning to stir. On one side, we have the insidious influence of Morgana Blackwood and her sister Evanora. Their ambition is a creeping darkness, a spell cast over the unsuspecting. They ensnared Max Lucian, Rebecca's father, twisting his love into a tool for their own purposes. They are the puppet masters, pulling the strings of men like Marcus, Draken, and Kai, creating a generation of pawns to serve their dark agenda. In opposition to this rising darkness, a different kind of alliance is forming. A pact was made on the deck of a pirate ship, Finn's vessel. This unlikely fellowship brought together old friends and new allies. Bart Cage Riaz, the cowboy ninja, his sister Isabella, their cousin Kai Riaz, seeking redemption. They were joined by Max Lucian, desperate to free himself and save his daughter Rebecca from the orphanage. The pact was galvanized by the arrival of Jessie, Nick's mother, found by Isabella and Bart, a woman broken by addiction and stress, brought aboard Finn's ship. She found a confidant in Herza, who had known darkness and found the light. Together, these disparate souls, a pirate, a ninja, a fallen man, a recovering addict, a powerful woman, another powerful woman, united to push back against the darkness and solve the riddles of their own lives. Their first mission, find Eileaf, vanished into the currents of time. This gathering of storms is not just grand battles between good and evil. It is about the quiet tempests within each individual. Nick wants to find his place in the army to prove his worth. Eilif, Magria. They share a spark of flirtation, a small light in the encroaching gloom. Luna Moon, Isabella Riaz. These small personal connections are anchors when the full force of the storm breaks. Alliances are being tested. New powers are being discovered. The stage is set for a confrontation that will change the fate of every clan, every family, every soul caught in the web of the Blackwood Riddle. Every story of loss has a beginning, a single moment where the world fractures. For the Blackwood twins, Eilif and Lily, that moment was a night filled with fire and smoke. The official account is tragically simple. A house fire, a terrible accident that claimed the lives of their parents, Daniel Blackwood and Jessica. This event stands as the cornerstone of their separation, the accepted truth that sent two young lives down two starkly different paths. But in a world woven with magic and secrets, simple truths are often the most effective lies. The fire was real, the loss was profound, but the events of that night were far more complex than a mere accident. It was not just a home that burned. It was a carefully constructed life, and the flames were a curtain designed to hide a deeper, more unsettling reality. The narrative of an accidental fire serves a purpose. It provides a clean, albeit painful explanation for the sudden orphanhood of the Blackwood twins. However, questions linger like embers in the ashes. What could cause such a sudden and devastating blaze in a home belonging to a family with supernatural heritage? Were there enemies they had made? Was the fire a targeted attack? A violent message, sent by those who feared or coveted the Blackwood power? The silence surrounding these questions is deafening, suggesting that the truth was deliberately buried under the rubble of their home, a secret deemed too dangerous to survive. To understand the riddle of Eilif and Lily's separation, we must look past the smoke and see the fire not as an end, but as a catalyst. In the panic and confusion, two children could be easily separated, their fates redirected by unseen hands. One was taken from the scene, the other was found and taken in. The true nature of the fire remains one of the central mysteries. It is the first and most foundational riddle. Who lit the match? Was it an internal betrayal? The answer to this question is the key to understanding why Eilif and Lily had to be separated. It explains why one had to vanish and the other had to be hidden in plain sight. In the chaos of the fire that consumed his home and his family, Eilif did not simply escape. He vanished. In one terrifying, disorienting moment, the world around him dissolved, and he was pulled into the very fabric of time itself. This was not a random occurrence. It was the first raw manifestation of a power he did not know he possessed. A power inherited through the complex and potent Blackwood bloodline. Eilif, a child facing unimaginable trauma, instinctively reached out with a nascent ability to bend time, tearing a hole in his own present and tumbling through it. He did not travel to a different place, but to a different when. This act of temporal displacement was Eilif's salvation and his curse. It saved him from whatever fate awaited him in the ashes of his home, but it also untethered him from his own life, from his sister, and from his identity. He became a ghost in his own history, a boy out of time. He was a passenger, not a pilot, carried by the currents of time to a destination he did not choose. The rift Eilif created that night was more than just a personal escape. It sent a ripple through the magical world, a subtle tremor that was felt by those sensitive to the currents of time and magic. It marked him, flagging his existence to beings who understood what had happened. While the mundane world mourned a boy lost in a fire, the hidden world registered the birth of a new timebender. This accidental journey was the true cause of his separation from Lily. She was left behind in the mundane, smoldering present, while he was cast adrift in the vast, unpredictable ocean of the past, present, and future, waiting to wash ashore in an unfamiliar era. While Eilif was lost to the currents of time, his twin sister Lily was left amidst the wreckage. It was here that another key figure stepped out of the shadows, Miss Colette. To the outside world, she may have seemed like a compassionate woman who took pity on a poor orphan. But Miss Colette, elder sister to the powerful Celine, was far more than she appeared. Her decision to adopt Lily was not an act of random charity. It was a calculated, deliberate move. She knew of the Blackwood lineage. She understood the power that ran through the veins of Daniel and Jessica's children. In the wake of the fire, with one twin mysteriously gone and the other vulnerable, she recognized an immediate and grave threat. Lily needed to be protected, and more importantly, she needed to be hidden. By adopting her, Miss Colette placed Lily under her personal guardianship. This adoption was an act of strategic concealment. Miss Colette gave Lily a new life, a new name, and a new environment, severing her connection to the Blackwood name. She raised Lily away from the overt world of magic and monsters, allowing her to grow up with a semblance of normalcy. This was done not to deny Lily her heritage, but to protect her from it. Miss Colette became a gatekeeper to Lily's past, holding the keys to her identity until the right moment. Lily Blackwood grew up under the watchful eye of Miss Colette, largely unaware of the incredible power dormant within her. The power she inherited from her great-great-grandfather, Lord Elias Blackwood, was a potent and rare combination. Like him, Lily was a hybrid, possessing the dual nature of a vampire and a werewolf. As she grew older, her path began to cross with that of Tom, Nick's father. He recognized something unique in Lily and began to subtly guide her. He spoke of powers, of bending time. Lily's attempts to learn about time bending were slow and often frustrating. This was because her primary power did not lie in temporal manipulation like her brother's. Her core strength was far more primal and visceral. Her forgotten legacy is waiting, and as the world grows more dangerous, the sleeping giant of her hybrid nature will be forced to awaken. Long before Eilif was adopted by a kind couple and Lily was taken in by Miss Colette, the currents of fate brought the Blackwood heir to a place of shared sorrow and forgotten children, an orphanage. It was here, in this institution filled with lonely youths, that his path first crossed with another key player in our saga, Rebecca. After being flung through time by his own nascent powers, Eilif did not land in a palace or a wizard's tower. He landed in the mundane world, ending up in the same system that housed children like Rebecca, who had been left there by her own mother, Luna Moon. This shared location, however brief, is a crucial detail in their intertwined histories. For a short period, Eilif and Rebecca were in the same building, breathing the same air, two children abandoned by their families for vastly different yet equally complex reasons. They would not have known of their own powers, nor of the great and terrible events that had shaped their young lives. To each other, they were just another face in the crowd. It was a quiet, unassuming first meeting, a secret prologue to the deeper connection they would one day share. Eilif's time in the orphanage was short-lived. He was soon adopted by a fantastic couple who provided him with the love and stability he desperately needed. Rebecca's journey, however, took a different turn. She remained in the orphanage, her fate hanging in the balance. Her father, Max Lucian, was falling deeper into Morgana's shadow. Her mother, Luna Moon, had her own reasons for keeping her distance. Rebecca's rescue would not come from a kind, unassuming couple. It would come from the heart of the magical world itself, from Isabella Riaz, who was guided by Rebecca's grandmother, Mela. The orphanage was a crucible, a shared point of origin that underscores how deeply the fates of Eilif and Rebecca were connected, even before they truly knew each other. Every family has its secrets, its hidden figures who reside in the margins of the main story. For a long time, the question of Artie's true parentage was one such mystery. While she was raised by her mother Mela and Oceanus, the identity of her biological father was a carefully guarded secret, a riddle waiting for the right moment to be solved. The answer steps out from the shadows not as a king or a dark lord, but as a man of profound and amusing contradictions. His name is Bart Cage Riaz. He embodies two distinct archetypes from worlds apart: the disciplined shadow ninja, the freewheeling, sharpshooting cowboy. This duality is the essence of his character. The name itself is a clue. Cage means shadow, a title earned through mastery of the silent and deadly arts. He moves with stealth that belies his often boisterous personality. Yet this shadowy warrior loves the open range, the feel of a horse beneath him, and the satisfying crack of a well-aimed shot. Bart Cage Riaz did not seek the spotlight. He preferred to operate from the periphery, acting as a protector, a teacher without demanding recognition. His role as Artie's father was kept quiet for safety and complexity. In a world of power-hungry sorcerers and ancient family feuds, revealing the connection could paint a target on Artie's back. It was safer for him to be her mentor, a quirky but brilliant teacher who could pass on his skills without revealing the deeper bond. He was a father hiding in plain sight. Naming Bart Cage Riaz as Artie's father solves a major riddle in the tapestry of these families. It establishes a direct blood link to the powerful Riaz clan, making her the niece of Isabella Riaz. The shadow cowboy, the man in the background, is a central pillar in the story, a father whose identity was secret, but whose influence was always present. He is the answer to the question, and his story is just beginning to be told. The connections in our story are rarely simple lines of blood. They are a complex web woven from friendship, shared experience, and chosen loyalty. The friendship between Maya Lila, mother of Artie, and Mia Isadora O'Reilly, Mizzy, mother of Magria, is a prime example. These two women were incredibly close, a bond that made them more like sisters than friends. This connection is made even more fascinating by a striking physical resemblance they shared, not just with each other, but also with a third person, Max Lucien, Rebecca's father. This sisterly bond between Mela and Mizzy formed the bedrock of a wider chosen family. When Mizzy's first love, the pirate Finn, left to chase adventure, it was Mela who provided comfort. When Mela began her unlikely romance with the energetic Bart Cage Riaz, Mizzy was her confidant. Their lives were intertwined, and they raised their daughters, Artie and Magria, in this atmosphere of deep, familial friendship. The girls grew up together, their mother's bond creating a sisterly connection between them as well. This web of friendship extended to Max Lucien. Before his fall to Morgona's influence, he was part of this tight-knit trio. He was Mela's brother. His friendship with Mizzy was just as strong. The three of them shared a bond that was shattered by his corruption. His descent into darkness was not just a personal tragedy. It was a blow that fractured this core group. Mela's quest to save her brother was not just about him. It was about reclaiming that lost piece of their shared past, about trying to make their fractured family whole again. This intricate network of relationships is the heart of the story. It is a family defined not by a single name or house, but by the enduring, complicated, and powerful threads of love and friendship that bind them all together. Every family has its ghost, not the kind that rattle chains in the attic, but the living kind, the ghost of those who have left. For Magria and her mother, Mia Isadora O'Reilly, that ghost was Finn. He was Magria's biological father, a man who was more myth than memory, a pirate whose presence was defined by his profound absence. He had vanished from their lives when Magria was very young, leaving behind a void that was quickly filled with stories and questions. Who was this man, and why did he leave? Finn was not a cruel man, nor did he leave out of a lack of love. His soul was simply tethered to the tide, his heart a compass that always pointed toward the horizon. He was a pirate, and the call of the sea was a siren song he could not resist. He lived for the thrill of discovery, the freedom of the open water. He loved Mizzy. He adored his daughter Magria, but the settled life of a landsman felt like a cage to his restless spirit. His love for his family and his love for the sea were two powerful competing tides, and ultimately the ocean's pull proved irresistible. The ghost of Finn lingered in the stories Mizzy would tell, tales of a charming, brave adventurer who could navigate by the stars. But they also magnified the pain of his absence. He was a grand, exciting figure who chose the world over her. This created a complex mix of admiration and resentment in Magria's heart. This riddle of his disappearance is central to understanding Magria's character. Her fierce independence, her occasional recklessness, her deep-seated loyalty to her new family were all forged in the shadow of his departure. Finn's choice to leave, driven by his own nature, set in motion a chain of events that would redefine her family completely, and the inevitable day when his ship would appear on the horizon once more. Mia Isadora O'Reilly, or Mizzy, was a woman of incredible strength, but even the strongest cliffs are worn down by a relentless tide, She had loved Finn's adventurous spirit, but she knew she could not live the life he was choosing. She could not raise Magria on the deck of a pirate ship. She needed stability. She needed a home. Her choice was to let him go. It was an act of both love and self-preservation. She had to build a new life from the pieces of the one that had just been shattered, a life on solid ground for herself and for Magria. After the storm of Finn's departure, Mizzy and a young Magria eventually found themselves building a new life in America. It was here that Mizzy's path crossed with a man named Damien. He was a kind, steady, and dependable man, the calm harbor she and Magria so desperately needed. Damien was also from Africa, like Finn. He had come to America with his two sons, Danso and Armani, after a great personal tragedy. His first wife had been killed by a tiger. This shared experience of loss and single parenthood created an immediate and powerful bond between Damien and Mizzy. In each other, they found not just a new love, but a partner in healing. He embraced Maigria as if she were his own daughter from the very beginning. He offered them the stability and security. He was the man who would stay. Their love grew, and they decided to join their two broken families together to make a new, whole one. Damien became Maigria's stepfather, a constant and loving father figure in her life. Maigria, once an only child, was thrust into being a middle sister between solemn Danso and energetic Armani. The house was no longer quiet. It was noisy and chaotic. The family grew with the birth of Zuri, daughter of Mizzy and Damien. Zuri's arrival cemented the blended family. She was a firecracker, rebellious and mischievous. Maigria felt an intense, almost primal bond with her. She took it upon herself to be her keeper. This vow was unspoken but absolute. The fourth great riddle of our saga is one of convergence, a question of how disparate paths crossed in a place of shared sorrow. Why was Rebecca, the daughter of Max Lucian and Luna Moon, really placed in an orphanage? How did this path connect to Nick's quest for his place in the world? And what was the ultimate purpose of the pact formed on Finn's ship? The answer begins in that same lonely institution. The orphanage was not just a holding place for forgotten children. It was a crucible. Rebecca's presence there was the direct result of a family fracturing under the weight of immense darkness, a story of a father's fall from grace. Rebecca's path to the orphanage was paved by the corruption of her father, Max Lucian. He was not born evil. His fall was not a simple choice to embrace darkness, but a slow, insidious corruption that preyed on his greatest vulnerability, his heart. The question of what happened to him finds its answer in the cunning and predatory magic of the sorceress Morgana. The decision to place Rebecca in the orphanage was not made lightly. It was a desperate act of protection, a last resort to shield a vulnerable child from the toxic influence of a father who was no longer himself. This chain of events culminated in the formation of the Pact on Finn's ship. Their mission was forged in the fires of hope and regret. Max Lucian, consumed by one goal: rescue his daughter, Rebecca. For Kai Riaz, the motivation was similarly rooted in fatherly love and deep regret. Jessie's journey was one of hope for a future she thought she had lost forever. Even Finn was moved by the raw emotions swirling around his ship. The mission to find Eileaf and save Rebecca became a collective quest, each member pouring their personal hopes and regrets into a single, powerful current, propelling the ship forward. As our saga draws to a close, well, a new and final thread of the Blackwood legacy is revealed, one not of shadow and struggle, but of grace and ancient light. We learn of Lyra Blackwood. She is the sister of Lord Elias Blackwood. Lyra is a swan princess and an ice princess combined. She possesses the ability to transform into a swan. She represents a different kind of power within the Blackwood line, one that is protective, healing, and inherently good. She is a good fairy, a beacon of hope. Her story also introduces another player, her cousin Franklin. His allegiance is a fascinating riddle. He is a member of Finn's crew. He is also a member of Luna Moon's gang. Yet, he also has connections to Celine's side in the Order of the Dragon. Franklin's nature further deepens the complexity of the family's power. Like his cousin Lord Elias, Franklin is a vampire and a werewolf, a powerful hybrid, firmly on the side of light. Lily stands on the precipice of awakening. Franklin, by contrast, has found balance. He models what Lily could become. He is the keeper of the oath, to use their power, not for gain, but to protect those they love. The great overarching mysteries have been solved, and in doing so, we have revealed the full, breathtaking complexity of the tapestry. The first riddle of the twins' separation, the second riddle of Artie's parentage, the third, a storm riddle, untangled Maigria's story. Finally, the fourth riddle of the orphanage shed a somber light on a father's tragic fall. We see that every mystery was rooted in the deep and often painful love of family. These are not the actions of villains, but of flawed, loving people making impossible choices. The children of this saga are the inheritors of this complex history. The darkness of Morgana and Evanora created these riddles, but in solving them, our heroes have forged a bond of shared truth that is now their greatest weapon. Yet after the storm of revelation is past, one final soft riddle remains, whispered on the wind. It is not a question of who, why, or how. It is a question of what comes next. What of the spark between Ilif and Magria? What of the quiet bond between Luna Moon and Isabella Riaz? And what of Nick? Where will his heart find its place to rest? The most poignant part of this final riddle lies with Jesse and Kai. Can they merge their broken pieces to create something whole? And could Nick and Zyler truly become a family? And so we leave our heroes here, at the dawn of a new day. The Blackwood Riddle has been solved, but the story of their lives is just beginning. The final riddle is not one of magic or history, but of choice. It is a soft question, left for them to answer in the quiet moments of the tomorrow they have fought so hard to secure. The adventure is over, but the journey has just begun.